Hey guys, Dan Casella here. September 14th, 2020, the anniversary of Cramptons Gap, or South Mountain, as well as Fox's Gap and Turner's Gap will be going on. But the New Jersey Brigade will be engaged at Cramptons Gap pretty heavily. And I'm going to tell you their story a little bit, including an individual behind me who was there. So a little breakdown. So it starts with General Franklin's 6th Corps is sent to try and save Harper's Ferry as it had fallen to Stonewall Jackson a few days prior. But the Corps comes to Cramptons Gap around noon on the 14th, and Franklin wants to wait for his 3rd Division under Couch, who wouldn't show up until 10 o'clock at night. The approach to Cramptons Gap was under fire from Confederate artillery. Major Thomas W. Hyde of the 7th Maine would recount, quote, through the streets we went, while cannonballs crashed among the houses, and women, young and old, with great coolness, waved their handkerchiefs and flags at us. The Confederate infantry, 3 regiments, and a bunch of cavalry units, Virginia cavalry units, and 2 batteries of artillery, including the famous John Pelham, will take position on the side of the mountain, and the infantry and cavalry will take position along a stone wall and a rail fence, which will be jutting north off the Burkittsville Road. But they only number about 1,000 men, commanded by Colonel Thomas Mumford. When they watch in awe of Franklin's men move towards them, outnumbering 12-1, Confederate gunner George Neese will say of the Federals, quote, "were so numerous that it looked that they were creeping out of the ground," end quote. And at he would also note that how cautious the boys in blues approached reminded him of, quote, "a lion making exceedingly careful preparations to spring on a plucky little mouse." So the Federal assault will begin around 3 p.m. and will hold a front of about a mile long. General Slocum's division will move on the Confederate line. Slocum will have the 1st New Jersey Brigade under his command. The brigade will be stacked. It will be the 4th and the 2nd Vermont will be on their left, and then the New Jersey Brigade on the other side of the Burkittsville Road. Torberts New Jersey Brigade will be stacked 1st and 2nd New Jersey, followed by the 4th and the 3rd in the rear. The 3rd and the 4th are sort of smack in the center and the rear of this whole advance. And they're going to be going towards the road. They're going to be heading towards Mountain Church Road and using the Burkittsville Road sort of as their left guide. The 12th Virginia, they're going to hit the 16th and the 12th Virginia, and then they're going to hit them and then sort of swing up the mountain and flank Cobb's Legion, while Smith's division to the south took the Confederate right flank. The New Jersey Brigade will advance to the rail fence used by the Confederates, now lined with the dead and wounded of the 12th Virginia. New Jerseyans' fire was so hot that it ignited the grass and the leaves on the ground, and wounded, like Confederate soldier George Bernard, would have to drag himself away. He was shot in the thigh. Torbert shouts to his men to go forward, and, quote, "we bound forward with a cheer," from Sergeant John Beach of the 4th New Jersey. The New Jersey Brigade had lost its original commander, Phil Kearny, just 2 weeks before at Chantilly. Take a cap off for old Phil. During the attack, the 4th New Jersey 4th New Jersey's Sergeant Jacob Osterman shouted Kearny's name, and it seemed to, quote, "spur the men into a rare ferocity." The 1st line, like I said, the 2nd and the 1st, charged the stone wall and drove the enemy in confusion up the mountain, and the 2nd line, comprised of the 3rd and the 4th, charged over the 1st line, and the New Jersey Brigade went up the side of the mountain, a most steep and difficult ascent, even when not hampered by knapsacks, overcoats, and blankets. Confederates were formed in the gap on the crest of the mountain, but the Jerseymen charged into them and drove them through the gap and down the further side into the plain below. And actually, there's a moment where the Confederates are fleeing across the field, and the New Jersey Brigade is sort of is picking them off as they retreat across the field. Johnnies were in total rout. 300 prisoners, 3 stands of colors, and 700 rifles of the best improved Springfield pattern, including 1 gun, 1 cannon. 2 of those standards will be captured by the 4th New Jersey, and enough Springfield rifles to re-outfit the 4th as they were captured a few months before at Gaines Mill. The New Jersey Brigade's loss will be 1 officer, Lieutenant Josiah Studford of the 4th New Jersey, and killed will be 39 non-commissioned officers and enlisted men, wounded 125, for a total of 174 men. It would be, quote, the most brilliant achievement of the brigade to that time. Now here's a little bit. This is just pieces from a speech given by General George E. Bird Knubb, G-N-U-B-B. Pardon my terrible pronunciation and little reading bit here. So anyway, so this guy is going to be addressing Kearny's 1st New Jersey Brigade Society in Burlington in 1888, and he's going to say this of their actions at South Mountain. Charge of the 1st New Jersey Brigade, one of the most magnificent and best sustained and most gallant charges that ever was seen. Torbert ordered the 2nd line, composed of the 3rd and 4th, to charge which it did with a yell, rushing over the fence behind which the 1st line, composed of the 1st and 2nd, were laying. Which line immediately joined them, and the entire brigade went over the fence, up the stone wall, behind which the rebels were hid, from which they were pouring a deadly fire. The entire brigade, yelling, charging, firing, in many instances engaging in single combat with those who refused to surrender, rushed over the wall and scrambled for that is the only word to express it, up the steep hill, and the enemy in front of them, and in many cases among them. The New Jersey Brigade, flushed with victory, rushed with, oh my God, Dan, way to go with the stuttering. The New Jersey Brigade, flushed with victory, rushed with exultant yells upon it. Firing was very severe, and slight check was made at the top of the hill. It was only for a moment, but significant for the rebels to get off with all of their guns but one. Another rush was made, and this gun was taken. There were 3 stands of colors and in the possession of this magnificent regiment. He's talking about the 4th New Jersey in particular. So New Jersey Brigade, the 1st New Jersey Brigade, has one of its finest days at Cramptons Gap, for sure. They take some pretty heavy losses, like I stated earlier, and one of them I'll introduce to you here in just a second. But just as South Mountain's also sort of a redemption, to kind of sidestep here, South Mountain's kind of a redemption for the 4th New Jersey. The 3rd and the 4th New Jersey fight at Gaines Mill along Boatwain Creek. They're hit by Hood's Texas Brigades and Law's Mississippians, North Carolinians, Georgians, and Virginians as a part of A.P. Hill's attack on June 27th. They're hit at night around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, just when the sun's starting to set. The 4th is separated from the brigade and flanked by the 95th PA and the 2nd Maine, and they're captured in mass and paraded through Richmond. And they're later exchanged, but they lost their prized 1861 Springfields, which had been purchased out of pocket by their 1st Brigade commander, their beloved brigade commander, Phil Kearny. When exchanged, they were given old, outdated smoothbores. So when they went in, they were going in angry, wanted to avenge the death of their beloved commander. And they probably had something to prove to the rest of the army and to themselves. And so when they go in with such ferocity as quoted, they take 300 prisoners and, like I said, 700 rifles. So yeah, they take these guns sort of as their welcome back to the army. They recapture Springfield rifles, as well as packs, blankets, haversacks, all sorts of stuff that they probably had lost and weren't really reissued until that time. The 1st New Jersey Brigade will be involved in every major action of the Army of the Potomac up until the end of the war. They're going to be involved at Petersburg on the breakthrough on April 2nd, 1865. Where they're going to hit Lane's brigade, and that's for a whole other episode, a whole other day. But anyway, I want to bring it back here to the guy that I wanted to introduce everyone to. His name is Private Thomas B. Keene. Let me flip this for a second. Keene is born December 22nd, 1842. And he is in the 3rd New Jersey Company F. They're going to be formed out of Bridgeton. There's a weird little photograph I found of one of their guys and a picture of a steamboat. And apparently they take a steamboat from Bridgeton, New Jersey to I don't know where. I haven't been able to follow up on that one, but I'll get to that. Anyway, Keene is one of the 39 killed during Cramptons Gap. He will be I couldn't find when or at what time he was killed or what duration of the battle, but this is one of them, and he's buried here at Shiloh Seventh-day Baptist Church here in Shiloh, New Jersey. He will be 19 years old very young, just like most of the Civil War soldiers. But yep, that's it. Thomas Keene was at Cramptons Gap 158 years ago today, running those Johnnies off the mountain and out of Maryland and saving the Union. So cheers to him. All right, guys, thank you for watching and tuning in. I know it's been a while, so a like and a subscribe would be cool. And if you wanted to share it, that would be cool too. All right, guys, thank you again. Goodbye.